Hello and welcome to this drink review of a drink called Qdol Bulbasaur. It's what I think is grape flavored sparkling water. Okay. Some of them says sparkling soda, some says sparkling water. Oh Jesus, this was very pressurized. So okay, it has a very strong flavor smell. Let's hope the flavor. Well, I don't want the flavor to be too strong, but I don't want it to be super weak either. Because does this contain sugar? It does. It's a fructose syrup. It's probably high fructose syrup. Yeah. So, man, it's just getting stronger and stronger. So, it's clear. Maybe it has a little bit of like a hint of like greenish yellow. No, it's just my eyes. I'm thinking Bulbasaur. Okay, let's taste it. Excuse me. It's not that carbonated actually. Yeah. Nice level sweetness. Would I guess grape from that? No, I wouldn't. But it's pleasant. I mean, I'll finish it. But it's nothing special. I mean, I wouldn't buy it again. If was able to get, yeah, I mean, you're still getting a little bit of that feeling, the mouth feeling, and where it feels like there's something coating your mouth. It has to be the fructose syrup, right? Because that also happens with like American soft drinks. Then again, the Chinese Pepsi also contained fructose, and I didn't really feel that from that one. That one, maybe not as much, who knows. Okay, let me just mute that because I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so I mean that's it. Let's do some comments. Okay, first comment by Lazul. Shaniqua Souls. Oh, Shaniqua. No, yeah, Shaniqua Souls. That was on my first look, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean by it, but she's not really like an American black, like that type in the game. She's just very boring, the main character, because I have played the game more since that first look. I haven't recorded myself playing it, but I mean, I'm having quite fun in the game actually. It does not play like Dark Souls at all, really. Like it obviously is inspired, but it's doing like its own thing. It's inspired by all types of things. I mean, getting like not necessarily. When I say Assassin's Creed vibe, I'm not meaning like in the actual assassin part, and actually not really because you're not really. Maybe it's more along the lines of like a newer Tomb Raider game, along with like Dark Soul. But yeah, no, the main character is just very boring. He hasn't gotten more interesting as I've kept playing. So that's a game that's okay to play with something on the side. Yeah. Yeah, but I do like the pistol and actually now when I have a musket part as well. And those are things that got in a little bit stronger. It's fine. Let's see. Another comment by the Excess of light and screen time without the night filter and high brightness can cause headaches. Use the computer less, paint or something, but with natural sunlight instead of electrical light. Low noise or no noise, darkness and just chilling. Usually no headphones either, because squeezing your head just a bit can also produce headaches. Yeah, I mean, I mostly just use these things. So I don't have things in ear or, big on top of my head. And, I mean, honest, and also have like YouTube giving me replies made with AI, which is thanks for the advice or good tips. Let me just press good tips. That's the AI response. Like those are good tips. But I mean, pretty much all of those things are things I already do. And like one problem, especially, oh yeah, that comment was on my drink review, Qdol Lychee Charmander. So the Charmander, oh yeah, talking about the drinks. Out of the drinks, this is probably the best. Like so far. There's one more Qdol drink, which is Jigglypuff, not Squirtle. So either Squirtle, probably Squirtle exists, but they didn't have it. So that will be the last one. But so far, the Bulbasaur is the best. And then, don't really remember how the Charmander or Pikachu, which one was better than the other. Obviously, the worst one was just the Pikachu that was just carbonated water. But yeah. Anyways, like I said, I don't use the computer and stuff like that much. Especially during that time. I mean, most of the things, because there was another comment you had about energy, or was it this one? No, it wasn't. But I mean, a lot of the problems that I have with that has to do with the fact that my body, I have adrenaline problems. So my body doesn't handle the adrenaline, or doesn't produce enough correctly. Let's see. I'll do all of Lazul's comments together, and then I'll do some others. Let's see. By Lazul, on the same video as the Charmander one. I'm not having a good day either, man, or rather a good month. I'm with you. It's so over. Depression gently hit me this time. I hope I recover. I must find something to do and get back up in life. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Like, it's not over. I do hope you recover, because it's difficult, because I've never really, I would not say that I have depression. I mean, obviously I'm sad, but I do not have depression. Because depression is the fact that you're sad because you're sad. And I think, when I think about that, that must be pretty difficult to kind of like get out of, right? Because it's kind of like the only real cure to depression is just don't be sad, bro. Isn't that the whole, like, that's actually like the best advice someone can give to depression? Yeah, because depression is just you being sad because you're sad. There isn't really a reason for it, which probably makes it so that depression is pretty difficult to get over. Because, for example, I am sad, but that's because of the pain I'm having, the fact that it's my skeleton expanding, all this pain, adrenaline problems. Like, I'm not able to do a lot of the things I want to do without passing out. Like, that makes me sad, but not depressed. So, yeah, but hopefully things get better, Lazul. I'll check and see after this if you've written something on Discord. Maybe I need to use Discord more, because I've been using Discord now like once every 60 to 90 days for like a couple of minutes. Maybe we should do like a podcast or something. It's been like 2 years since we made one. We don't need to talk about this shit. But it could be fun to make one because it's been so long. By Lazul. I've been put into morphine during an operation I did on my eyelid when I was a teen to remove some swollen thingy that manifested there. I remember it feeling so good, but beware, it's a derivative of heroin. So I think it has potential to be addictive. Of course, it numbs pain. I mean, I've had morphine tablets, like for example, oxycodone, tramadol, or some tramadol, but I don't know if tramadol is actually based on morphine. But I've had like some type of like tramadol and another type of patch, and I don't know, like to me, I don't want to use those types of, not necessarily because I'm afraid of getting addicted, because I didn't really feel that way, but because I started feeling like I want to puke when I got these things, and I just felt worse. Like they did lower the pain, but they didn't lower it that much. And for me to get like the pain relief, the amount of like bad things that happened, like it was too high for the pain relief. Like no, so I'm kind of like against that type of stuff. Like I would rather not. I would rather find a way to get pain relief and stuff without having to rely on that. Like, for example, I don't mind taking some paracetamol a little bit here and there, like when the headache gets too intense. I don't use it all the time, because that's also not good. But if it gets too intense, I'll take a little and it disappears. And because it only really helps against the headaches, anyways. And for me, my headaches kind of disappear pretty easily. Like they can get pretty painful and all that, but they are easy to treat. Knock on wood that they stay like that. So yeah, like it's not really something I worry all that much for. They are pretty easy to handle. At least the headaches are. And then the last comment by Azul. They shot a YouTuber, Charlie Kirk. Recently, some transgender Antifa crazy leftist type, like 3 to 2 days ago. That comment was 13 days ago or 14. So that must have been like 3 weeks ago. From now, simply because he was debating and using his free speech. And now the whole political paradigm in America will shift even more radically and faster just because of that, for obvious reasons. I don't know, this is the first time I hear about that, but I mean, like I said, I don't really follow like American politics or never heard of this guy. Let me there we go, let's see. Okay, no idea who this is. Right-wing political activist, Turning Point USA. Nope. I mean, too bad he was shot. Yeah. Especially, I mean, if what's said is true, that it was some type, like, I'm not gonna look into it. I'll just, whatever anyone says to me, I'll be like, that's probably truth. I'll not look into it because I don't know, I don't really care. Obviously being shot, if it was shot just for debating and using his free speech, that's retarded. Get killed for that. But I mean, isn't there something like that happening in America right now? Like, there's a lot of like mass shooting. I mean, obviously, the whole point of America is mass shootings. I understand. Like, it happens like 2 times a day, probably more, right? Like it's American holiday. Man, imagine going to school in America. Jesus Christ. Like I'm thinking, like, what is the worst thing that ever happened, like, to school for me? Like, what is the thing I have to worry about? Like, oh yeah, someone tried to bully me once, and I almost killed him, and then no one tried to bully me ever again. Like, that's the worst thing that happened. And obviously, I'm over exaggerating. I just choked him. It wasn't like. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking about killing or not killing. I was just choking him for like, I don't know, 20 seconds. And then nothing ever happened. The only thing that happened is he got suspended for a week. I did not. So that has been my, like, that's the worst thing that happened. Like my bully, well, not really. Someone who tried to bully me. Would that be considered bully? If someone is just trying to be an asshole once to you, is that bullying? I don't think so. Now when I think about it, like, not really. He did bully others because it was mean to them more times than once. That's interesting. Like, when does something become bullying, or rather than just being an asshole? And I'm not gonna look it up because as I'm talking about it, I'm like, I'm already not interested in the topic. This is the first thing like I'm doing as soon as I woke up like 2 hours ago, and I've gotten out of bed like 20 minutes ago. And as soon as I start my computer, this is what I'm doing, because this right here is my breakfast. Let's see. MT UK. Taking an hour to do your first turn to be a dickhead. I'm 6 years late, but holy hell, Tony, if you ever see this, you're a twat. That was on LVO Day 3, Game 2, Alex Fennell Imperium versus Tony G. Inadi. I mean, yeah, Alex was a piece of shit. But wasn't that first game? Yeah, it was against Alex. Yeah. I remember it being against the Imperial Guard guy, right? Yeah. Man, that was that 6 years ago? Jesus Christ. Then, if I remember correctly, something similar then happened to him. Not necessarily taking this, because the whole thing about that is that he took an hour to make his first move, which didn't they then change the rules? Because that at that time that was like the optimal play, doing something called slow play, where you take like super long time, because each game was a set amount of time. So if you take as long as possible on your first turn, then the opponent basically has to rush. So now I think it's kind of like maybe it has changed, or maybe that never happened. I think that after that they decided, you know what, we're gonna have set amount of time each turn, or each user thing, whatever, which will probably be exploited, because the thing about Warhammer is the fact that even though it's technically your turn, you're not the only one doing stuff. You know, if you roll, and someone has to defend with their roll, they can then slow turn their roll and waste your time. So I don't know how that works now. I mean, I don't really follow competitive 40k, to be honest. I've kind of been out of 40k and Age of Sigmar. I liked Age of Sigmar 2.0, like 2nd edition. 3rd edition and then 4th edition kind of lost me with Age of Sigmar. And then with 40k, I think I started losing it like around 7th edition. I enjoy how the primaries look, and I don't really care that much. Like, I like neutral in the lore in the beginning there, but then over time it's just gotten like not for me. But I still like the setting like overall, but I'm not like super into following like I've never really been like a competitive player, so yeah. Like when I've played, I've always done like themed things. Because that's what I enjoy, and the other people I played it with have also done that. So it's always been like, obviously, sometimes it is uneven because we're not really thinking about making a super good list, or like sometimes someone might make a list that is kind of decent, then I make a list that absolute dog shit, and I get destroyed. That is fun. The only exception to that has been Tau players. I've never met a Tau player that wasn't like the absolute scum of the earth. So, but that's probably because of when I played. I think most of the games I played was in 6th edition. I think 6th or 5th. And I think at that time probably Tau was probably like the game that someone like the what fucking meta slaves would play, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Mm. Oh yeah, the whole thing about the Freedom Planet game, actually, Lazul. Now we go back to Lazul. I'm planning on playing a game called Chrono Gear, which is a Hololive fan game, and I bought it to support them. But then when I looked at their other games, Freedom Planet was on that list, or like for some of them, like there's Team Chrono Gear and Galaxy Trail. They are the developers, and the developers of Freedom Planet also, I guess, helped with Chrono Gear, which is quite interesting actually. The fact that you mentioned Freedom Planet, and then like 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks, or like a month or something, like I bought Chrono Gear and was planning on it, and like, huh, let's look at the developers. Let's see. I think Naruto Uzumaki, Big A mustache. And that was on my Narcissu 10th anniversary anthology project review. How was my mustache back then? Let's see. Okay, like I thought it was when I had like that. No, it was when I was born. Like what's it called? I mean, it's actually less than I have now. So yeah, that is everything. I'm pretty sure, because I think I've read all the others in other what's called. Let's see, are there any held comments? Yes, there are. One held comment by Kill Salamander. Pedo, having to sleep with a drawing of a child. Keck. And that was on my morbidly obese man weight loss journey. And that is not a drawing of a child. It's from Monster Musume. It's the mermaid. Was her name Mero? Let's see. Monster Musume mermaid. I think her name was Mero. Yeah. Mero Une Lorelei. Also known as Mero, right? Yeah. Man, the fact that I remember that, Jesus Christ. But that is who that is. And obviously, I assume that is a joke. I understand that. Because of the fact that there is because there's a lot of comments like this from people with like this type of, what's called? A profile picture. It's like a green man with like red lips and a blue shirt. And they always leave like the absolute most retarded comments or stuff like that. So I assume That's probably from some type of cartoon or something. And they're like role-playing as something like that. Is that a troll maybe? Let's see. If I... Green man, red lips, blue shirt. Okay, what comes up is Baldy from Baldy Basic. It's a frog. Okay, here we go. How do you pronounce that? Peep the Frog. Or Pepe, maybe. Yeah, Pepe the Frog. Okay, apparently it's like a meme from Gaia Online. Okay. Isn't that some type of MMO maybe? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As soon as I saw that, like, you know what? I'm not interested into finding or learning about the joke. As soon as I saw like, it's from some MMO, I'm like, I don't care anymore. So yeah, goodbye.